My name is Alex, and I'm a soldier, a bit of a nomad really. The desert has been my home more than any city street, and the constant hum of a generator is a more familiar sound than a TV. But even out here, life finds a way to surprise you. This is a story about one of those times. It's about a lesson I learned, not on a training field, but in the quiet, empty spaces of a home that no longer belonged to me. I was standing ankle-deep in desert sand, my rifle slung low, when I read the subject line, "Final notice of divorce filing." No kind words, no apology, just an attached PDF and one sentence in the body. "It's over, I've moved on, please don't contact me." There was no signature, no explanation. I didn't move for a long time. I just stared at the screen until the sun's glare bled into the glass. The wind kicked dust across the outpost and a siren wailed somewhere far away. I replied with a single word, "Understood." Then I turned off the phone and slid it into my vest pocket. They say silence is a weapon. They never tell you how cold it feels when it's all you have left. The satellite lagged, but a banking alert came through 3 days later. $46,372.11 withdrawn. Our joint savings account was empty, just like the pictures she deleted from our shared drive. I checked the doorbell camera from the base's Wi-Fi. The first frame showed her walking inside, laughing, holding hands with a man wearing my hoodie. The second frame showed him carrying a gaming chair up our front steps. The third frame was our dog barking from the upstairs window. Then nothing. The feed went offline. She'd changed the Wi-Fi password. I sat down slowly, my knees creaking like ancient wood. It wasn't rage or sorrow, just a hollow kind of clarity. She wasn't just ending our marriage, she was erasing me. I didn't scream, I didn't drink. I didn't ask why. I just watched. Every night after my patrol, I would log into the secondary security protocol she never knew existed. It was an old habit from when I first set up the system, redundancies, fallbacks, and backdoors. She had no idea the bedroom camera synced quietly to a backup cloud. They watched movies in my bed. He used my toothbrush. She wore my shirts. They talked about baby names once and laughed like carefree children. I listened to it all and I waited. 2 weeks before my redeployment, I started moving pieces. I had a friend in finance run a discreet trace on the bank transaction. There was a new joint account, her name and his. I filed for power of attorney to gain access to our shared assets. A classic mistake, she hadn't revoked it. I didn't take everything, just enough. I canceled the utilities and quietly sold the car from under her, since the title was still in both of our names. I forwarded her Amazon packages to a warehouse in Reno, Nevada. I filed a quiet lien on the house. She hadn't refinanced because her new boyfriend wasn't listed on the mortgage. I kept everything under the radar. It was cold, clean, and completely legal, exactly what she wanted. I got home 2 weeks early. I didn't tell a soul, not even my brother. I didn't go to our house. I booked a room downtown in Portland, Oregon, 10 stories up, overlooking the city where I once planned to grow old. Then I waited. 3 days later, I called her from a new number. She answered on the third ring. "Who is this?" I didn't reply, I just listened. "Hello?" Still nothing. She was quiet for a long moment. "Is this a joke?" I ended the call. That night I sent her an email with a single attachment. It included property transfer forms, asset liquidation, breakdowns, proof of power of attorney usage, and a photo. The photo was of them on the couch, her straddling him, his hand under her shirt, with a timestamp for my camera. The subject line read, "I left the garage key under the mat." She didn't respond. I arrived at the house the next morning with coffee in hand, as calm as a foggy morning. She stood on the porch in his robe, her arms folded like she could still bluff her way through this. "What the hell did you do?" she demanded. I took a sip of my coffee. "Everything you assumed I wouldn't." She lunged for the papers I held out, scanned them, and her eyes flinched. "You had no right." I cut her off with a look I'd reserved for enemies, not her. "Not until now." "You divorced me in an email," I said calmly. Her mouth opened, then closed. "I let you go," I continued peacefully. "You chose war," she said, her voice cracking. "You can't just take—" "I didn't take anything," I said. "I took back what was mine. You just didn't realize how much of it you left in my name." She looked down at the papers as if they might start bleeding. Her breathing grew shallow. "Why?" she whispered. Finally, a real question. I stepped closer, but not toward her, just past her to the door of my house. "I didn't want revenge," I said. I wanted you to know the feeling. What feeling? I paused at the threshold. Being replaced. She lost the house 3 weeks later, foreclosed with debt. Collectors circling like vultures. The boyfriend left once the utilities were shut off and the eviction notice arrived. She called twice and left a voicemail the second time. I didn't mean for it to end like this. I thought you'd be gone longer. I made a mistake. I didn't reply. Not then, not ever. People ask me how I stayed so calm, how I didn't burn it all down. It was simple. You don't win wars by shouting. You win by waiting, by letting your enemy walk straight into the trap. She divorced me by email. I replied with silence. And by the time she realized what that silence could hold, it was already too late.